Hey everybody, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by Letterboxd. Right now, listeners of our show have the chance to win a free 1-year pro account upgrade or extension on Letterboxd. For those of you who do not know, Letterboxd is a social network for film lovers that lets you track, rate, and review the films you watch, follow other members to get recommendations, publish lists of films, and plenty more. It's free to use, but a pro account provides additional features that the regular users just don't get, such as a customized summary of your past year's viewing. To enter, you need to email us at HooperCast@gmail.com for your chance to win. Just listen to the show to hear what the month's code word is and the code word for January. So if you're listening to this episode, we are going to reveal the winner in the next episode. So if you're listening to this podcast, it is at the very earliest Friday, January 22nd. So the episode next week on January 29th that we release will contain the winner of this month's contest. So this month's code word is Hooper. So email us at HooperCast@gmail.com and put the code word Hooper in the subject line and include your Letterboxd username in the email so I know who to potentially award this to. Some people are getting confused. I got a bunch of emails of people just saying, "Hey, thanks for the upgrade. Here's my stuff." And I was like, "No, it's a contest. It's a raffle, basically. I'm not giving you all upgrades. I'm giving one of you an upgrade per month, and only if you listen to the show and get the right code word." So, anyway, do that. The winner will be selected at the end of every month. Next week's will be January's winner. You can also follow our show on Letterboxd. Just search HooperCast. Letterboxd.com. Letterboxd.com. Thank you so much for listening to the show. And without further ado, here it is. Hey everybody, welcome to episode not 113 of the HooperCast. We had some last minute cancellations on this week. So Dustin and I could not record this week. So what I did instead was I was trying to restore old episodes of the podcast, some of them which were lost and some of them which never got released. And so at the time of this recording, I still haven't decided whether or not to put this one out this week. So if you're listening to this, then you're in luck because looks like I decided I'd do it. So since this week was supposed to be episode 113, I happened to be working on episode 13 of the HooperCast, which was released, I think, way back in maybe March of 2012. And the episode is basically... I think it was the first time we had Kellan on the podcast, maybe the only time. I can't remember now. And so what started as a podcast about what looks like, according to my own show notes, but this did get released, and then I think about an hour in, I said that I'd lost the rest of the audio, and I had, because we recorded like 3-hour show, and basically it just... at a certain point, Kellan and Dustin had to send me 3 different audio tracks, and then I lost track of them, and I couldn't figure out the order, and then it turned out I'd lost a big chunk of my own audio. And so I think at the time I was like, well, I'm just going to stop the show here. So what I decided to do now is to try and get as much of it laid down in sequence as I could, and I've achieved that. So what you get is roughly an hour and 50 minute, maybe about a 2-hour podcast. So I cut an hour out of this thing, basically. And the reason part of that never got released is because after I'd say about the 1 hour mark, maybe a little past that, actually, it becomes apparent, I think, that I've had lots of red wine. This is the most amount of alcohol I'd ever consumed before podcasting, actually getting on the mic, and it never happened again because I was thoroughly ashamed of my behavior in this. I didn't do anything that bad. I just figured it was unprofessional. But it's a really funny episode. Maybe it's only really funny if you're me and Dustin and Kellan. But anyway, enjoy this episode. If nothing else, just to hear us giggle. And yeah. All right. Thanks, guys. Also, a quick note. Apologies for the cursing in this one. We curse a lot more in this episode than we do currently. There used to be a lot more salty language on the show before we kind of cooled it off. Especially Dustin, that potty mouth. So sorry about that. Prepare your ears. Okay, so everyone's recording? Gross. Alright. That was, my computer was up all the way, and so that was like a full-on brat into my ear. Okay.
Obama.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 13 of the HooperCast. I'm Connor Dempsey, and I'm joined today by our regular... I may as well let him move into me. Ooh! That's not what I meant. Move into me. I meant move in with me. I meant
Freudian slip there, Hooper.
Yeah, Freudian, yeah, sure. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you?
No, I wouldn't.
My regular co-host, Dustin Weldon, and
Hello.
with new to the podcast, good friend Kellan Stover as well.
Hello.
Live on Skype from Austin, Texas.
Yeah, that's
Hello,
me.
Kellan.
Kellan, you've listened to the podcast before, haven't you?
Indeed, I have.
Okay, so you're familiar with the lack of format or structure that we have?
Oh, yeah, it's perfect for me.
Yes, it's a great lack of structure.
That's good. So yesterday, I was like, well, I want to rent something on Redbox and watch it for the viewers to review, because I haven't done a movie review in a while. And so I was going through Redbox, and I thought, well, what would be the most fun to review? And so I saw Adam Sandler's masterpiece, Jack and Jill.
Lord have mercy.
And I was like, sure, why not? Let's do this. And so I rented it. And what I haven't told either of you, I wanted to save it for the podcast, but I think I told someone, or maybe Kellan, I put up a Facebook post that said, God help me, I'm about to start watching Jack and Jill. 10 minutes later, I put up a post that said, it's amazing that I can get all the way through the change-up, but I can't get through the first 10 minutes of Jack and Jill. Because after 10 minutes, I stopped the movie and went back to Redbox. That's the only time I've rented something from Redbox where I've gone back to Redbox the same day and returned it. I watched it, and I was like, okay, whatever, this is fine. Kate, what's her name? Tom Cruise's wife, Katie Holmes.
Katie Holmes.
And so I'm watching, I'm like, okay, well, this will be okay. And then he goes to the airport to pick up Jill, and so I'm already incensed by the fact that he's playing his own sister, and then she's like, I can't believe it. Oh, there's Jack, there he is. And I'm like, I'm not doing this. I can't. And I watched one dinner scene, and she just does that voice, and I'm like, I can't do this. Oh, there we go. Why are you so mean to me? Why are you yelling at me? I can't. I hate that. I hate it so much. Yeah. So I stopped it. You see this? Ripping this page out. Gone. It's a chapter gone from my life. In 10 minutes, I can never get back.
At least it was just 10 minutes, though.
Yeah.
At least it wasn't like Al Pacino, where he spent weeks filming this.
Wait a sec. Al Pacino's in the movie?
Yes, Al Pacino plays himself. All right, here's the thing. Al Pacino plays a fictional version of himself who is quite enamored with Jill. Oh. So he constantly tries to woo her using various Al Pacino-isms. One of the things in it, I saw this on YouTube, was like he did a commercial, like a fake commercial in the movie for Dunkin' Donuts, where he quoted all of his famous movies, like Say Hello to My Little Friend, and I Knew It Was You, and like all these things. And I'm like, where has your career gone? My Lord. Of everyone in Hollywood who had a downward spiral, he might be number one now.
Hey, he did Ocean's 13.
Yeah.
How many movies have there been?
I don't know, Ocean's 11,000?
Yeah, what happened to 1 through 10? I'm confused.
Yeah.
Ocean's
What just
1?
happened to Ocean?
Yeah.
They should make a prequel, Ocean.
Well, technically, there's only, like, what, 4 No. How many oceans are there?
Yeah,
All right, that was a bad joke. No, forget it.
There's just 3 oceans.
Anyway, I just wanted to mention real quick Jack and Jill to everybody, to tell my audience, don't go see it, because it's really awful.
You wanted to review a bad movie, right?
I did, and I didn't think it'd be so bad that I couldn't finish it. I usually have tremendous staying power, but not this time. The next thing I wanted to do is, I had recently, episode 10, I believe, I had posted a top 10 list of 2011. Dustin, I talked to you afterward about it in the episode 11 about how strange it was, because we both concluded that we just hadn't seen that much the past year, for a lot of reasons, but there wasn't a lot that really struck us.
Right.
And so I wanted, I believe my top 10 consisted of like Rango, Planet of the Apes, The King's Speech, The Way, Harry Potter, and then like Thor, Captain America, Bridesmaids,
I saw like 2 of those.
Yeah, Limitless, Source Code, stuff like that. I remember thinking, like, God, these popular, how did these get on the list? And so I feel I want to revise it. And the only way I can justify revising my list, because I haven't seen a single movie that's been released in 2012, so I still feel like I'm under the umbrella of 2011. Even though it is now, Thursday, March 8th, I still feel like I can revise the list in time. So I revised my list, and I want to go back over it, because now I saw a ton of movies that got released, and I want to revise it. And I wonder about your thoughts on it, and Kellan, yours as well, although I don't know if you watch as many movies as Dustin or I do on a yearly basis, but as an outsider, I wanted your opinion.
Yeah, I'm an average Joe.
You're a black sheep.
Yeah.
Black sheep.
Number 10 was on the list last time, but it moved down from like number 2 to number 10. Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. We already talked about it, so I don't want to, talk too much about it, but I still maintain that I had problems with it as a movie, as a standalone movie. But it was still good enough to make my list, although obviously barely.
Harsh words.
I don't know if there's much more to say.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be the opposite viewpoint here. I think it was one of the better movies of the year. Not necessarily just because it was great as a standalone movie, but it did it had a huge challenge to it, which was how do you wrap up 7 movies in a sort of satisfying way? And I think it did that very satisfyingly to me. Granted, I haven't read any of the books, so maybe it's a little different there. But I think it was a great film. I don't know that I'd say it was the best of the year, but it was one of the best, I think.
Kellan, any thoughts?
I know that I can't remember which one of you guys has actually read all the books. Like, I mean, I have.
Hooper.
Oh, it was Hooper? Okay.
It was me.
Yeah.
And then Dustin, Dustin was the one that was kind of late to the party as far as getting caught up on the movies and stuff. Wasn't that like a year and a half ago or something?
I saw the last 2 in theaters, and that was it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I read all the books like long enough ago that I kind of lost track of little small details that happened in the books that generally like end up with outrage with fans when they see the movies. So seeing the movies so far apart from reading the books kind of did away with any kind of dissatisfaction with sticking to the source material. So I really treated all those movies basically like pure popcorn entertainment. I mean, they're never really going to stand up as pinnacles of cinema or anything like that. So as far as just enjoying them and having a good time, I think they're all pretty great, especially the last one. So,
what is your favorite Harry Potter film? I think Hooper and I have talked about this.
Well, my favorite book is the third one, Prisoner of Azkaban. But I don't know what my favorite movie would be. The third one was okay. I don't think it was the best one. The fifth one was actually a really good movie, even though it was like my least favorite book. So it might be the fifth one.
My favorite book is the 7th one, hands down. But my favorite movie is probably number 5. The Order of the Phoenix is probably my favorite one. I think it deals the most with like the connection between Harry and Voldemort and evil and trying influencing his actions. He's a lot more snippy. You know what I mean? Like he's
right
because that stuff's kind of I don't know. I just thought that was a good.
Wasn't the fifth movie the first David Yates directed one?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. You could tell a real distinct shift in just kind of method,
visual style.
Yeah. And
my favorite was Deathly Hallows Part 1. I think that's probably the most mature of the films in that there's a lot of silence. If you think back on it, a lot of that film is told through just the actors, embodying the characters rather than through dialogue. And it seemed more character-driven than the other films, which were more plot-driven. And it may be that they were reaching like a point where they had to make things longer in order to satisfy 2 films. It never came across that way. In fact, it just came across as being more mature to me, being more art. It's more artful, and I think that is probably the most sophisticated of the films, in my opinion. So, anyway, I like that one a lot.
I agree. All right, moving on. My number 9 is Mission Impossible Gross Protocol.
Gross Protocol.
Mission Impossible Ghost Protocol. That was one of the things I had seen at the time I made my list, and then upon reflecting on it, I thought, wow, that really should have made my list. I thought it was...
It surprised me that it didn't make your list initially.
Yeah, I remember that, and I thought about that, and I thought, wow, he's right. I just, I had to give it time to incubate and really compare it to the other films in my head, and it was really good, and I thought when it was first greenlit, I thought, God, they're going to drive this thing into the ground, it's going to be stupid.
And I saw the trailer, and I was like, that looks pretty awesome. And then I saw it, and I thought, that was pretty awesome. I still think Mission Impossible 3 is the best one of the 4 movies. Mm-hmm. But I thought Ghost Protocol was a very solid entry, and it makes me have faith in the franchise that they can still keep doing these. And so when it has that sort of effect on you, that kind of deserves a spot in the list. Did you see it, Kellan?
I did not. I intended to, but I've been having to be kind of selective with my movie going because I'm poor.
Yeah,
but
me too.
I like Brad Bird, and as long as Tom Cruise was running around like Dashel, he probably was. They love to make that guy fucking run, but I'd assume it was probably pretty good. I didn't kind of make mad bank as well.
Yeah, it made some pretty good money.
Made good money. Made all its money back.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
So
you gotta love J.J. Abrams too. So I'll give him I'll give it a thumbs up without even seeing it. So.
Was he producer? Was J.J. Abrams a producer on it, Dustin?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was.
He was still okay. Good.
But yeah, I liked it. I don't know if I could say it was my favorite. I still like the third one a lot.
Yeah.
I think the first one's my least favorite, and then the second one, which everyone always complains about, at least had like a cool visual style, that John Woo sort of thing going on.
Doves everywhere.
But it was dumb as dirt, but it was just so fun to watch.
Yeah.
Tom Cruise grew his hair out and did like rock climbing and junk.
Mm-hmm.
That was epic.
Which they brought back in this movie with him climbing the building. They brought back
that was cool.
Hey, Ethan likes to climb. Let's keep that within his character, and he'll climb the building.
Yeah. Wait, okay.
I thought that was cool.
For the guys that have seen the movie, why didn't he use the elevator? I'm confused.
Oh,
there
was a
very
reason.
quickly.
Yeah.
He couldn't use the elevator because he had to get into an area of like a computer room that I believe was like locked and they couldn't get in for whatever reason. So he had to go, or they didn't have time, or I can't remember what the reason was now. But anyway, there was no other option other than it was either abort the mission or have him climb, and he was like, screw it, I'm just going to climb, I'm going to see what happens.
Yeah, but how secretive was that, though? I mean, like, it was broad daylight.
It wasn't secretive. The bad guys that he was trying to, like, get the upper hand on, they weren't there yet. So they basically had the run of the place. And until they arrived, they could do whatever, so...
Okay, well, minor aside...
It makes a little more sense when you see the film, but yeah, I liked that movie a lot, and there's a few things towards the end that were kind of goofy, but overall I thought it was pretty cool.
Number 8 is Warrior. When I saw the trailer, I thought, okay, well, this is going to be a kind of a dumb fighting movie with that Joel Edgerton who looks so much like Conan O'Brien that it scares me. And so, for a little while, you think you won't be able to take the movie seriously, but you can. And, Tom Hardy being brothers, and they're, like, fighting each other. But it really is one of those movies that has a lot more emotion to it than you think, because there's all this stuff with, Nick Nolte got a Best Supporting Actor nomination. And he is great in the movie because the whole thing is like he's their dad, and he used to like beat them and stuff because he was just like an alcoholic when they were growing up, and so they grew up, and then he got like sober, and he was like super regretful about it, and like there's all these scenes where he's trying to reconnect with his son, and Joel Edgerton's like, no, I don't want you here, and there's like a lot of crying and stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, it's like emotionally like retching, and it's really good like that, and there's a lot more emotion in there than you think there is. And you're rooting for this guy the whole time to win because his family is so poor and the bank's going to take their house. And you want him to win. And I was surprised how much I was rooting for each of the characters. And for that reason, it's a very great movie. And I think everyone should see it. Plot-wise, I mean, there's nothing experimental or new, but that's what I like about it. It's just a pretty basic plot that's very good. And when you have good actors in those roles who are committed to their parts, it makes it very good to watch. And I really liked Warrior. Did either of you see it?
No, I didn't.
No, I didn't either. There's nothing like specifically standing in the way from having seen it. I just say like there's been a lot of boxing and fighting movies come out lately.
It's one of those movies that's really worthy of being seen in that genre. Like most people, if they see a boxing movie or something, they think, well, it's not going to be as good as Rocky, or a lot of things aren't. Cinderella Man was the last thing I remember that involved fighting professionally that I remember being pretty good.
Wasn't that
The Fighter?
Yeah, The Fighter, Marky Mark.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I was
talking
about.
The Fighter was awesome.
Yeah, The Fighter was good. This is really good in a different way than The Fighter is. I don't want to compare it to The Fighter because The Fighter's an artier film, but this is a really good movie. I don't know, if you both have time, you should check it out and see it. It's really good.
So I guess the next movie that's going to come out is going to be like The Pugilist or something, just going on with synonyms.
Yes.
That's
That's like a $2 word there, Kellan.
Yeah. Give me my money right now. I feel so smart.
Number 7 was on the list before, but I bumped it down, is The Way. And Dustin, I already explained to you why I liked this. Kellan, I'm going to go ahead and assume you haven't seen it. But basically it's a movie directed by Emilio Estevez.
A.K.A. Sheen.
Yeah, Coach Bombay. And Martin Sheen's in it, and basically it's all about this dad whose son dies, played by Emilio Estevez. They play father and son, because they're father and son in real life.
Wow.
And
It's
he
like Pursuit of
dies.
Happiness.
He dies on like a pilgrimage, and there's this whole like trail in Spain called the Camino de Compostela. It's the Way of St. James, and it's like this pilgrimage that St. James had gone on, and so people do it at certain parts of the year because it's like the whole idea of a pilgrimage and learning about yourself along the way, and sort of like a prayer thing. And I told Dustin that I liked it because it was a really simple story about like good fellowship towards people and accepting people and regaining any sort of spirituality or faith, which I personally identify with, and I think everyone identifies with to a certain degree. Outside of any religious denomination, I think that it's a good movie to see. So that made it on there because you don't see a lot of movies about that these days. You see, a lot of movies about characters, doing stuff like, I don't know, having a drive towards a goal that's just related to themselves, and I thought it was a good movie about people coming together. I don't know, it was a good one. Anyway, number 6 is The Ides of March, which I'm just gonna keep guessing. Neither of you saw that one.
I did not.
Wait, was that a? Wait, who was
that was the one directed by George Clooney, and it stars Ryan Gosling.
Yeah, I heard enough about this from Caitlin, my girlfriend's mom. So
what'd you hear?
She heard what I heard from her is basically like the movie sets it up to have this real like moralistic viewpoint, but the end kind of like dashes it completely and says that everybody's corruptible and there is no ideal hero kind of thing in terms of like the political spectrum.
That's an interesting viewpoint because it sort of does do that. Like,
yeah.
I won't give away the ending, but the movie sort of cuts off, like, right when I thought it was, like, the second act of the movie, it ends. But I was surprised by the ending because Ryan Gosling he's not the campaign manager. He's, like, on the campaign staff for George Clooney. And the whole movie's about, he gets contacted because Paul Giamatti is the campaign manager for the other candidate. And he's trying to convince him, like, George Clooney's evil and stuff. And it's basically all this ploy about, is he really evil or is the other guy just trying to get to him? It's one of those movies that when I was talking to Dustin about Moneyball, about how it was fun to watch, and like how it was just fun to sit there and listen to people talk during it, how much watchability it has. And to a degree, that really makes me like a movie because at least they can be talking about nothing, basically, and you just enjoy watching them. And that's good acting to me. That's good writing. And the movie sort of drew me in that way, and I thought it was really strong thematically. And yeah, it was sort of one of those things where you think that, that it's trying to push that, like, it takes a surprisingly, middle stance. It doesn't go Democratic, it doesn't go Republican, it just goes middle. It doesn't take a stance politically either way. It just says, look, sometimes politics is dirty, here's how. Anyway, number 5, The King's Speech. Not going to go too much into it. I remember I told you, Dustin, why I liked it. How I was angry when it won Best Picture, but I watched it and thought, okay, fine, this is good. So I'll move on from that. Anyway, number 4 is Drive.
Oh.
What?
I just saw that like 3 days ago.
Oh, you saw one of these movies. All right, well, we have to talk about it now.
We've all seen this one. Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Here we go. Okay, Kellan, what did you think of it?
Loved the everything after like the first third of the movie. I thought, it had all these pretty good characters and everything, and with really good dialogue being shot back and forth with like Bryan Cranston and what's his name?
Who is a genius, by the way.
Yeah, he was. Yeah. He, for what little he did in that movie, he was pretty good at it. What I thought was just horribly distracting the first third of the movie was the silence in non-conversation between Ryan Gosling and
Carey Mulligan.
Yes,
Carey Mulligan.
and Carey Mulligan. Their characters, their conversations consisted of so blah blah blah, and then like 20 seconds of silence, and then him just like either looking at her or just being like not doing anything. So yeah, I was just sitting there, just kind of like, oh man, this is tedious. And then as soon as what's her? I'm so bad with these names. Who's the girl from Mad Men that was in this?
Christina Hendricks.
Yeah, as soon as Christina Hendricks' head exploded, no spoiler intended. As soon as her head exploded, stuff really started like kicking off, and I was like,
I had a discussion with a friend about how he did not like Drive. I remember it not being an invalid argument, but I remember sort of fundamentally disagreeing with it about how nothing happens in it, which I disagree with. I think a lot happens. I think that it brought me to that story, Kellan, I don't know if you know, I know Dustin knows, but a woman sued the studio over this movie because it was not enough like the Fast and the Furious.
the marketing campaign.
She sued them for false advertising, which I can't remember if she won. Did she win, Dustin? Do you know if she did?
I don't know that the case is over.
I know that her grounds were that basically the trailer had presented a different movie, which if for false advertising you'd have to put actors who aren't in the movie in the trailer, and you'd have to present a different plot in the trailer than you show in the movie, which it doesn't do. The whole point of marketing a movie is to get people to come see it, and so you want to make it. When movies like Drive reach a marketing studio, they're like, well, this is sort of kind of obscure, we have to make it a little more mainstream, let's put more of the action sequences in it. The whole job of a marketing company or a trailer making company is let's make this look exciting so people will come see it. And it's like, okay, so it's your fault if you fall prey to the marketing, because the marketing is supposed to put asses in seats. And once your ass is in the seat, the movie is the movie that the studio intended in the first place. There aren't many studios who actually cut their own trailers. Mm-hmm. Most of them outsource that. A few people like I think Robert Rodriguez does his own trailers, but I don't know what.
Well, the problem becomes, where do you draw the line? Because I could say a lot of things like, oh hey, the trailer for the Green Lantern looked really cool, but the actual movie wasn't that great. So is that false advertising? Because the trailer looked cool,
that's why when you sue for crap like this, it's like, shut up.
It makes no sense. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, wait. I've been sitting on this for like a couple minutes. What is this lady suing for? Is she only wanting $10? Because
I think she
that was
wanted
a movie
her
ticket.
She wanted. I know she definitely wanted her money back, and I thought, well, honey, in legal fees, you're gonna lose so much money.
Exactly. She's spending like $800 in legal fees, and like, I want $10.
Yeah, it
makes no sense.
Okay, just cut your losses.
It's the principle, damn it! It's the principle.
Yeah, well, it's
the principle.
I don't know. I remember thinking that. I remember thinking it's a $10 ticket. Just go home. Be more. Most of us know, or at least people who go and see a lot of movies know. Look, the trailer for Ghost Rider 2 looked amazing, but it has a 16 on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently, it's not that amazing. All that means is that the company who made the trailer did their jobs and making it look awesome. Trailers are not
false advertising.
Trailers.
Well, never mind.
If a trailer gets a contract to cut a trailer for a movie, I said that wrong. If a trailer company gets a contract to cut a trailer for a movie, if they get the contract for Alvin and the Chipmunks 4, they're going to say, "Wow, this movie is shitty, so the trailer has to look shitty to accurately portray the film."
It's going to happen.
They're going to
anyway.
say, our job is to make this look good. And so that's not false advertising. That's people doing their jobs. And so we all know that movies can look as awesome as they can, but the movie itself can still be shitty. That has nothing to do with each other. They're not obligated to accurately reflect how good the movie may be. If the movie looked good and you went to see it and you were dissatisfied, then you're a victim of good marketing, basically, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Whatever.
You just said trailer. You just said the word trailer so many times. I thought of that the outtake from Spider-Man 3, where he's like, it came from his own trailer.
His own trailer.
His own trailer. Hooper was like, when the trailer gets the trailer cut for the trailers and the trailers, and I was like, He's like an 80-year-old man.
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse. You said the secret word. Ah!
See, now we just gotta hope that someone accidentally says Gilder.
It came from his own gilder.
His own Gilder.
His own Gilder.
Oh, well,
All right.
all three of us just...
Okay, so now we go to number 3, I guess, which is Rise of the Planet of the Apes. It may have been number 3 on my previous list, but I watched it again the other day because I wanted Terra to see it, and I was reminded about how much I liked it, because I remember when it got greenlit, I thought, this is stupid. I don't really want them to continue this. And then the trailer came out, I thought, this looks alright. And then I went to go see it, and I was blown away, because all the actors doing the motion capture was awesome, and the story was awesome, and everything happened as it... I say logically, there's smart apes running around, but, as it may have in that scenario. I don't know, I thought it was great. Did either of you see it? Dustin, did you see it?
Yeah, I saw it.
Did you like it?
I was actually... I won't say I was blown away, but my expectations were exceeded.
Yeah,
like by far. Mainly because when I went in, I was like, "This is going to be a big pile of poop," and then it was like, actually, that was pretty good. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah,
I thought it was good. Yeah.
Kellan, did you see it?
I did not, and for very shallow reasons. For the fact that it's literally the title pissed me off. I was like,
yes, I agree.
How can you put of the in a movie title? That's like,
no, that's so terrible.
I was like, that's not improper grammar, but it's annoying grammar, and I was like, that's dumb.
Yes.
I'm not seeing this movie. And then,
Yes.
then I heard tons of good things about it, so I'll probably pick it up at Redbox sometime soon.
It's awesome. I came this close to buying it. I don't buy a lot of movies that are new these days because of the fact that I have to be able to watch it at least 5 more times to justify buying it.
Right.
But the movie is really good. It's at least...
Yes.
It's good.
It is good.
Especially with what it had going against it. We're going to continue the Planet of the Apes. It's like, why? And then you watch it and you go, it was handled really well.
I still don't know that I really buy James Franco as a scientist.
As a career scientist, yeah.
Did he find his precious tritium?
He did. Precious tritium. Thanks to Oscorp for providing it. Happy to pay the bills, Otto.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh. If you don't know what we're talking about, you don't deserve to listen to my podcast. Get out of here. I'm just kidding. Please stay. Please listen. Please. I need you.
Inhibitor chip.
Number 2 is Moneyball. Moneyball was a surprise as well, because when I saw the trailer for that, I thought, no one wants to see a movie about baseball that's not about baseball. I explained this to you already, Dustin, but every time I say that, I make Kellan feel so out of the loop. But Moneyball was great, and it was co-written by Aaron Sorkin. I don't know if that's why the dialogue is so good, or if Sorkin writes a script and he says, okay, the only thing I want to say about the scripts, I don't care what else you do with it, just make everyone interrupt each other and talk over each other. I don't know if that's in his contract, but it makes the movie really flow really well. It makes it seem pretty quick-paced, and it makes statistical discussion about baseball interesting, where in any other case it'd be like, this is fucking boring. I thought it was great. I thought Brad Pitt was good. I thought Jonah Hill was good, and I thought the story was good about being based. That's a pun. About being based on the goings on behind the scenes of baseball. I thought it was great, and I thought it deserved its Best Picture nomination. But Moneyball was good. I suggest it to you both. It's good.
Well, Brad Pants can charm the pants off of Brad
Pants.
Brad Pants. He can charm the pits off of me.
He can charm my tits off, yeah.
Ew. Brad Pitt.
The visual's not going to show up.
I know, that's just for you two. Everyone else can imagine what I just did.
Brad Pants.
Brad Pants. That is awesome. Brad Pants.
Oh, okay.
All right. All right. Number 1 remains the same. It's Rango. I love this film. I told everyone why I loved it already. It's a pretty good Western. It's a good, a story about a guy finding a chameleon finding his identity The animation is fantastic. The story's good. The music's good. The direction's good. I respect how it was made. If you want to know why I like Rango, listen to episode 10. If you just listen to select episodes, well, then you suck. You should listen to all of them.
I'll be the opposite viewpoint here. I didn't like Rango. I seem to be one of the few, but I was sitting in the theater and just thinking, when is this over? The thing is, I've seen that same story about 1,000,000 times, and a lot of times in movies they think they're being like cool by sort of parodying the story, you know. Mm-hmm. But I didn't get that from this. It didn't feel like a parody. It felt like it was taking itself very seriously,
right?
And almost too seriously. And then I don't know. I mean, the animation was fine, but I don't think it was anything that Pixar hasn't already, surpassed. Anyway, so I'll be the exact viewpoint. I didn't care for Rango. It wouldn't make my top 10, and in fact, it would probably be on my bottom list.
Jesus!
I thought everything about it was cliched and just done before.
That's valid. I won't say that's invalid because obviously I respect you and your opinion. So
I don't.
I will say.
I'm just kidding. I didn't even see it.
I will say I liked Bill Nye. He does a great job as the snake.
Boy, does he!
As the rattlesnake. He always does, his voice is always fantastic. But that said, I think he's about the only voice that I cared for.
I think that one of the things that Rango did, which I liked the most, is that most of the times animated movies are for kids, but there's salt and peppered bits for adults in there to keep the adults entertained. Mm-hmm. I like that Rango seems more like a movie that's for adults with salt and peppered bits that will entertain kids.
I disagree.
All right. Well, present your case.
Well, no, you go ahead and finish.
I think that the whole, I don't know if it's just the part where he's going off to, everyone's like, you suck, Rango, you're not, who you say you are, and he goes off to the road and he's crossing the street and he's basically he's going to kill himself. Kids will go, Rango's sad, but adults will go, he's going to commit suicide. And he walks across the road. I guess it's maybe a lot of parts like that throughout the film that he realized how serious everything is. But I don't know. I just felt like a lot of animated movies these days, like Kung Fu Panda, will rely on slapstick, to make kids laugh. And there's a lot stronger themes and stakes going on in Rango than that.
This is true.
Yeah.
I don't think that makes it for adults. Mm-hmm. I think that makes it for kids, but not dumbed down.
Yeah, that's good.
I think
maybe that's what I'm saying. I guess, but I agree with
I
that.
do think that there's a certain point where adults won't be as drawn in, especially if they've if they're very well aware of the archetypes of the Western. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times that kind of puts you off because you can kind of expect everything that's about to happen. I know my parents saw it, and neither one of them cared for it either. Mm-hmm. It seems like they don't care for very many movies, so maybe that's not a good thing. But the point is, I think it's not for adults, and it's not for kids. I think it's for just about everybody, and the fact that it has sort of a middle-of-the-road sort of demographic, I think, does set it apart from a lot of what's being produced these days. But when you look at something like WALL-E, I don't feel like that's for kids either. I think, if anything, kids don't get it. I think kids can't sit through WALL-E. So, anyway, I didn't see it as anything groundbreaking, but I will say that it has some fantastic looking animation, and there are some good adult bits in there. There's a little part where he meets sort of kind of Clint Eastwood, which I think would probably go over kids' heads, but it's a nice little reference for adults. But there's stuff like that I did like, and I thought was pretty cool.
I think,
but overall, I just didn't think it was anything special.
I think that's why I thought it was for adults, because there's stuff in there that's, I don't know, I disagree with you, but not in any way that causes animosity. I think that both of us have valid points, and it just represents two sides of the track. That for people who don't know, Dustin and I tend to agree on a lot of things. So the fact that we disagree about this film is not contentious with me. It's just it is merely interesting to me.
Right. I know a lot of people who like this movie.
Yeah.
And I can't really put into words why I didn't, but I was never sucked into it. Mm-hmm. And if you were, that's fantastic, because I wish I had been.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think it's... I definitely respect what they were doing. And, yeah.
Kellan, any thoughts?
Well, yet again, I let you down by not having seen a movie. I think I've seen like 3 on your top 10. But, being in... Oh, I can say this now. Being in the animation industry, I didn't see the movie, but I can respect the way it was made in that, oftentimes, being a 2D animator, I can look at a 3D movie and just say, oh, that's killing... killing my business, killing where I come from. But at the same time, knowing that they had a soundstage and they actually had the actors, they literally had this entire film shot and
live action.
Yeah, live action, and that's cool enough as it is. But speaking from the animator standpoint, you usually just get, you get audio dialogue, and you have to kind of like imagine what the character's doing, and now they have this reference material from this live action version of the movie that they can pull from and actually get physical characteristics and movement styles of the voice counterparts and match it to the 3D animation that they produce. So I thought that was really neat. I saw some making of documentaries, and it's just one of those things that I had an interest in the movie, but not enough to spend the money, which usually ends up being the case for most movies.
Well, and that's telling, because studios need to keep that in mind when they're making movies. It's like there are people who only go see one movie a month, maybe, and it's like studios can't assume that people can afford to go see every movie they want to see in a year. I mean, Dustin and I did a long episode. I had to break it up into 2 parts. Episode 9 is 2 parts because we talked about every movie coming out this year that we wanted to see, that we were interested in seeing, and I remember mentioning I'll probably end up seeing about half the ones I talk about wanting to see, mostly because of time and money. Because it's like, if I want to see every movie I want to see this year, I'm going to spend like $200+ on going to the movies.
Hey, Hooper.
I can't. Yeah.
Hold on one second.
Your microphone's doing that thing again.
You sound like fucking RoboCop.
Yeah, my GarageBand file quit.
Oh my god! Make it stop. Make it stop.
Alright, wait, are you pausing, Dustin?
Wait, should I pause my GarageBand?
Did you already stop your recording, Dustin?
My recording. I'm going to call you.
Okay. Did you stop your recording yet?
Wait, Connor, should I stop mine?
Wait, hold on, no, keep it rolling. I want to see if you...
This is terrible. He sounds like a fucking droid from Star Wars.
If you listen to our episodes, you'll know that this happens all the time. It sounds like every time we record. Hey, Dustin.
Yo, I'm gonna back out of Skype. I'm gonna close it.
Okay. Sorry, it's so funny from this end.
I'm gonna back out and close Skype.
Are you recording still?
My GarageBand file, I'm getting the pinwheel. It seems to still be recording, but it seems to be a couple minutes behind.
Ooh. Okay.
For how long?
It's trying to catch up.
Okay. Maybe me and Kellan will keep going, and we'll see if you restart, and then I might just stop recording. But the first chance you get, when it stops pinwheeling, stop your recording, and we'll reconvene. All right. All right, bye. Yeah, Kellan, go ahead and keep going. He's going to get off Skype. See, isn't it funny? Now everyone can know what I hear when that happens.
You know, like the probe droid from Star Wars? It sounds like if probe droid could talk. Like,
well, last time this happened, Dustin, I just heard, and I was like, it sounds like there's a helicopter in here. Well, I guess we'll keep going, Kellan, just in the interest of time. But let me back my microphone away. I'm looking at my waveforms, and they're really loud.
You're going to edit the shit out of this. It sucks.
There's really not... If you really... when we record these on Wednesdays or Thursdays, and I try to get it done by Saturday, evening. Anyway, that's my top 10. I also I was gonna make a bottom 10, but I realized there was only like about 5 movies that really angered me this year. That made me really, not like seeing them.
God, that was so succinct and beautiful.
I want Dustin on for this, but I'm going to go ahead and just name what they are, and he can chime in later. Number 5 is Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows. Did you see that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was. I'll say that it was. The third act was really brilliant, but the first 2 acts were really slow and awful. He can chime in later to see that. Number 4 is The Dilemma. Did you see that? That's the one with Vince Vaughn.
Oh,
and
that had the whole
Kevin James, the one that Ron Howard directed.
That had that whole gay controversy thing. Yeah, when he said someone was a.
He said, what do they call energy efficient cars? What are they called? They're
hybrids.
Hybrid cars. Hybrid cars are gay. He says hybrid cars are gay, not like homosexual gay, but like my parents are chaperoning the dance gay. And everyone was like, "He said gay." And
No,
I'm
I can laugh at that and say it's funny and not be offended, but I agree that's not something you put in a trailer.
Look, I'm not going to use gay in a derogatory manner, but I don't know where I'm going with that. I guess I'm just saying
I'm just laughing that you're sitting there adjusting your glasses
I'm just let's move on. Well, let me finish my sentence. I'm not going to maybe you shouldn't use gay in a derogatory manner, but you shouldn't get incensed over the fact that, a comic actor used the word gay in a possibly derogatory manner.
Yeah, his character could very well be an asshole.
Well, yeah, that's the point. It's like his character, if his character's supposed to be likable and you're supposed to, agree with his views on people, first of all, the character even specifies, look, I don't mean homosexual gay, I mean my parents are chaperoning the dance gay. You could bring that back to the whole issue of the word gay, which means happy in the English dictionary, so it's not even a connotation for homosexual, people. Maybe it was first means happy, and then homosexuals were like, hey, we're going to use this as, I'm digging myself into a hole here.
It's not as wide-reaching as we're making it.
Now. Look, it's just the word gay means several things, and it means one thing, and it also means happy, and it also maybe in a derogatory sense means silly or
lame.
Stupid. Yeah, or lame.
Yeah.
And perhaps, I'm not saying that's a proper use of the word, I'm just saying that that's one way the word is used, and that's how it was meant here. And I don't think they meant to offend anybody. I don't even know why we're stuck on this issue, because the movie itself is bad outside of this use of the word gay. So, look, hey, if you're gay, don't watch The Dilemma, because then you'll be...
That's the first thing Dustin hears.
Wait, Dustin, are you back on?
Okay.
Dustin, we were talking while you were gone, during your absence.
Yes.
We were talking about my bottom 5 of 2011. How my number 5 was Sherlock Holmes: A Game of Shadows.
Ooh, yeah. Okay.
And how I said the third act was really good, but the
Yeah.
first 2 acts were slow and kind of boring.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree.
You and I fundamentally agree on this movie.
Yes.
Just how it was,
See, we agree on so many movies.
Oh, yeah. The fact we disagree on Rango doesn't destroy our friendship, except it does. And I hate
It does. I hate you.
Number 4 is The Dilemma, and we were talking about the whole use of the word gay
Yeah.
in there, and I just described it. I really don't want to go through it again, and I have a feeling when I listen to it, I'm going to be digging myself such a hole. The main thing I wanted to convey was that, look, you know what? I'm not going to go there. Never mind. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. So number 4 is The Dilemma. I just, more than the whole use of the word gay, I was more offended by the plot line, because the whole plot line was like, so Kevin James's wife cheats on him, and Vince Vaughn sees that, and he's like, yo, I'm going to tell him. She's like, you're not going to tell him, because then he'll hate you, because you're his best friend, and you should have told him, but don't tell him, but tell him because you should. And it's like, what? And so the whole movie is like, the whole movie is like, the whole thing could be solved by him just telling him. And so the whole movie is like, why should I tell him? And look, if I was Ron Howard, I would say, well, I mean, would you tell your friend? That's the whole conflict of the movie. And I would say, yes, I would tell my friend. It'd be quite simple to solve it, because he's my best friend. I would tell him. Movie ended. And he's like, well,
they should have just called it Not Much of a Dilemma.
There really isn't one. The dilemma: do I tell him or I don't tell him? You tell him. You're not his wife. You didn't cheat on him. What's going to happen to you? He's not going to hate you. He's not going to shoot the messenger. He's going to say, thank you for being my best friend and telling me this.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what I hate the most in movies when the plot can be solved by a character just telling the truth. I hate that. Because that's the weakest plot to me, almost. Yeah. It's like, if a character lies because his family is threatened, that's different. A character lies because he's worried about his relationship with his friend, which wouldn't be damaged if he just told him the truth. I hate that. I hate that so much. Anyway, I'm moving on. Pissed off now. Number three is The Hangover Part 2.
Yes. Oh, Lord, I hate this movie.
Christ. This movie is... Again,
bullcrap.
This is one of the ones we talked about. But, everyone knows the whole Stu having sex with, like, a transsexual part that we all hate, or that you and I hate. Kellan might love it, but,
Hey, don't speak for me.
Do you love it?
No.
Oh, good. There we go. All right.
that was highly uncomfortable and out of character. But
it's exactly.
Yes.
That's our whole argument. It's out of character. You made him like. There we go. There's nothing more to be said. If you're like a listener who listens to all the episodes, you know what we're talking about. If you don't, then just go back and listen to my episode. You lazy bastard. It's free.
Yeah, I was the kind of person who, if I see something in the theater and I can leave the theater saying I was entertained, then I usually say I like the movie. But if we're looking at it in like more, scrutinizing eye, the fact that I have no real want to like see it again, kind of tells me I didn't think it was that great. It was really formulaic, and I enjoyed it while I was seeing it, but it didn't have any staying power.
I mean, if the movie had been funny, then it may have won me over. But it's not only was it illogical and outside of character, and not only did it manipulate character, but it wasn't funny either.
Yep.
It was bad. Like,
I agree.
I told Dustin I sold the first movie because I couldn't watch it without thinking of the fucking sequel. It was awful.
Yep.
It was terrible. Let's move on, because I want to explain. We all agree. Let's just move on. I don't want to shit on it. Number 2 is The Change-Up. It was bad for so many reasons. I did an episode on this where I reviewed the movie, and I talked about how the main characters are both assholes for hating their lives. Jason Bateman in particular for hating having a family. He doesn't want to be responsible for his family. He wants to be away from his family. Yeah, fuck you. You have a family. Deal with it. It's just...
Michael Bluth would never do that.
Right.
I know. Michael Bluth's a family man.
Yeah. So,
family first. Or breakfast.
Family first.
He just... The movie angered me. Number 1, of course,
Hooper doesn't understand the Arrested Development jokes.
Number 1, of course, is Jack and Jill, because I couldn't get through 10 minutes of it. You could argue, oh, well, you didn't watch all the movie, you don't know it. Yeah, well, fuck
Kermit is arguing with you?
Yeah, well,
you didn't watch all the movies.
Oh, well, Hooper, you didn't watch all of Jack and Jill. You don't know how awesome it is. I'll say to you, fuck you and your opinion, because this movie's a piece of shit. This movie's awful. It's
aggressive.
Awful. I didn't watch more than 10 minutes of it because it's a piece of shit. The movie's awful. It's, Adam Sandler and then Adam Sandler playing his sister. That's just a horrible premise. Who greenlit this shit?
You sound like Tourette's guy.
Or angry video game nerd or something.
I'm just I'm taking my glasses off. The whole point this movie got greenlit fucking angers me, because who the fuck sits in a studio and then says, this is a good idea. This is a fucking good idea. This is awesome. God. So many bleeps. You're going to have to go into this podcast. It's unnerving.
Can you make the bleeps ducks?
But not... I will try, just for you, actually. But this is unnerving, but not as unnerving as the movie itself is. The fact that it got made makes me have no faith in humanity. I don't care about, who gets elected president. Well, that's a different issue. But I don't care about, who takes, who does what. All I care about is movies being made. And when shit like this is being made, it pisses me off, because it makes me think, what industry do I want to work in when it's filled with dumbasses who can't make decisions? Anyway, I'm done with this. Ripping the page. We're done with this issue. Done with it.
Hey, how about I say a movie that I didn't like that you guys probably didn't see, so I can feel smart?
Go for it. Please do.
I rented this movie. It was like a Sundance, I think a 2011 or 2010 Sundance film. And when it came out there, it was called Homework. And it then got, a wide release, and it was called The Art of Getting By. And it's like, I'm sure you know, like the disenfranchised youth, like indie drama genre that's going around these days, kind of.
Right.
Yeah, kind of like really formulaic stuff. This movie is about this annoying ass, spoiled ass, like private school New York City rich kid named George, who his basic view on life is like, I'm gonna die one day. Everybody's gonna die. Why the fuck should I do homework? And like that's the hero you're supposed to cheer for, is some asshole kid who doesn't understand what life is about. And it's also one of those movies where nothing happens that would ever happen in real life. Like the popular girl in the school starts liking him and like invites him to parties. And keep in mind, these kids are like 16, 17, and they're going to parties at clubs in downtown New York City with no fakes, and they're drinking beer all the time. And it's like, how that wouldn't happen. And the whole movie is just like you sitting here just going, the protagonist of this movie is an asshole and I hate him, and everybody else sucks. And nothing happens that would ever happen in real life. So it just takes you out of the movie. And Caitlin, I mean, you guys know her, but my girlfriend, she was furious about this movie because she was just like, oh, we both finished the movie, and sometimes she'll like a movie and I don't like it, and I kind of like test the waters first by being like, it wasn't very good. And when I said that, she was just like, oh, this fucking piece of shit, oh! And like, I was like freaking out. So if you guys ever want to watch a really, really, really bad indie drama, you should watch The Art of Getting By, and you will hate it.
Gotcha.
So.
Yeah. Is Freddie Highmore in that?
Oh yeah. It was it was the what's his name? Charlie in the Chocolate Factory kid.
Yeah.
With
Charlie Bucket.
Yeah, Charlie Bucket, the new Charlie Bucket, not the old Charlie Bucket. And what's her face is Julia Roberts' niece,
Emma
Roberts, who's cute and quirky and charming, but she, God, fuck this movie. That was the first time I've ever gotten a Redbox movie for $1.20 and felt like I got ripped off.
Yeah.
Okay, the next thing I want to talk about is this piece of news that one of the listeners put out. Rick Humphreys put up this article about movie ticket prices and food prices. I'm going to play this video because there's no written story. It's just some guy named Joshua Thompson filed a lawsuit and claims that customers can't handle high prices. So hold on, just bear with me. I don't really know what this is, so just listen.
No, not that lawyer from A Few Good Men, but a lawyer to file this class action lawsuit saying consumers can't handle the prices, and that theaters are charging, quote, grossly in excess of the price at which the exact same food and beverage products were sold for less than 2 miles away. The suit says he used to bring his own snacks until AMC Theaters said no outside food allowed. Of course, you could try to sneak...
Okay, I don't want to hold my microphone up to that anymore, so I'm just going to stop it there. Does anyone really realize what was going on? Dustin, were you listening?
Yeah.
Really?
I got it.
I'm going to admit I was lazy and wasn't paying attention, except that it seems like they're saying food is too expensive at theaters and people are complaining. Is that what you got from it, or am I wrong?
Essentially, but it seems like they're also filing a lawsuit because the prices are too high. Which again, I'm not sure what the grounds of this suit is.
Let me go ahead and let me share what Rick wrote about it. His status when he posted the article, he was disapproving of it. He said, "You have to be kidding me. Here's one. No one is forcing you to buy concessions. Tickets, yes. Concessions, no. It's an option. 2. Movie theaters make nothing off the tickets, so would you rather pay more for the ticket to make up for the lost revenue? And 3, concessions and tickets have always been expensive. I still remember my dad and mom saying no to concessions because they cost too much when I was a kid. Sorry for the controlled rant, but this shit pisses me off, and I know I'll hear about it today at work and this weekend. People have always bitched and moaned about movie theater prices. It's nothing freaking new, and while this will get tossed out, still pisses me off." I personally tend to agree with Rick because I think that if people don't want to buy food, then don't buy the food. But don't complain that it's too expensive. Just get food somewhere else. You know, like when there's another option for food, it would be different if you lived in a society where all you could eat was the movie theater. Okay, food's expensive. Well, then don't show up with an empty stomach, you know? Like,
right. Well, I think the one of the things in the lawsuit is that they can't bring food in. So like, it's not necessarily that they're hungry, but that, you know, a lot of times it's more enjoyable to watch a movie with popcorn or whatever, but they don't want to pay that much, and then they can't bring in their own popcorn, so they basically don't have a choice if they want popcorn. But
right.
yes, I side with Rick. I think that no one's forcing you to pay those prices. So I don't understand really what's happening. And I also agree with him that it's not a new thing. Those prices have always been high. And, you know, they go to help maintain the costs of the theater that you are, you know, visiting. So, yeah, they could be lower, but, you know, whatever. I'm not going to go to court about it.
Yeah, I think there's a fundamental problem. I'm not going to go off on a tangent. I'm just going to share my quick idea and then move on. But there's a fundamental problem with our country. You know, this encapsulates the McDonald's woman suing about the coffee. This encapsulates the woman suing about Drive. People in this country sue too much for things that are basically trivial. I can sue if my son was hit by a bus and I want to sue the city for reckless endangerment or something like that. I'm not going to sue a movie theater because they showed Drive and I thought it would be like Fast 6, you know? I'm not going to sue a movie theater because the food costs too much. You can't just sue for things like that. You're not entitled to sue for things like that. You're entitled to... It is not inherent in your rights to have reasonably priced food. I'm sorry, that's life. No one said you had to pay it. You could sue if you were being forced to pay it unjustly by a man with a gun, you know, like, but... You know, the fact that this food costs this much, no one's forcing you to buy it. That's like a car costing too much. No one said you have to buy this car and it's going to be expensive. The car's expensive. Do you have to buy it? No. You can't really get by as efficiently without it, but you don't have to buy it. And if you say, well, I can't get by without a car, well, then either buy it or shut the fuck up. You know, like, it's just... anyway.
Or find a used one.
You know,
what kind of lawyers take on these kind of cases?
Well, you know, I don't really care either way because I'll do whatever I can when I'm at a movie theater to not have to buy at a concession stand. But, I mean, same thing happens with, you know, price gouging at, you know, with gasoline during shortages or something like that. If you think about it, a movie theater not letting you bring in external food kind of makes their food the only thing that is, isn't against the rules kind of thing, and it's the only thing that's available. Kind of like when there's a gas shortage, and a gas station can hike up the price of its gas. So, you know, and there's laws against that. So, you know, I don't think it's anything that should be taken to a court of law. And I'd have to know like the business practices of a movie theater and what they need to set the prices at in order to float as far as a business goes. But I do think it's pretty ridiculous, but anybody that's actually spending that amount of money is still justifying the purchase by actually getting the damn stuff. So I go to a movie theater and, you know, if my girlfriend wants a Coke Icy, there's no easy way to get a Coke Icy anywhere else, so I'm going to end up spending $5 for one, and if I spent the $5, that means I thought the $5 was worth it, so... You know.
Well, see, I mean, it's against the rules to take stuff in, but I'm sure we've all taken stuff in anyway.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. And a lot of times, I mean, there have been times where I walked in and the guy tearing the tickets didn't say a word. Like, even though he saw me with a Mr. Pibb or whatever, it's just kind of like, whatever. Maybe he was a Mr. Pibb fan.
Pretty sure it's Pibb Extra now. So
I'm pretty sure that you need to shut your mouth. The last year at SCAD, I did a little thing where I had to do a documentary for documentary class, and it was a very quick thing where I went to a drive-in theater and just filmed, and I was hoping I could film a bunch of cars there and everybody enjoying the movie. But what ended up happening was there were 3 cars there, and there were 2 screens. So one of them was playing The Dilemma, and the other was playing True Grit, and two cars were at The Dilemma, and one was at True Grit, and So anyway, I was talking to the guy that owns the place. He's a real nice guy, and so we were talking, and he said that basically to get into the theater, they're sort of a second-run theater, so they get prints a lot cheaper than someplace like a Regal or a Carmike or whatever, who gets everything right as it comes out, and so they can offer the tickets for a lot cheaper. I don't know how all of that works, but their ticket prices are, I think, $4 a piece, and that I think it's even less than that for kids. So anyway, I was talking to him about concessions and how important concessions were, because it was clear that a lot of his money went to the concessions, and he said, yeah, he tries to keep that area up and very nice because that's where his money comes from. And the way that we were talking about it, he was just saying that basically what he charges for popcorn, yeah, it's more than anywhere else, but the fact is, you know, they don't make any money off of the tickets. And so I can kind of see the need to have concessions that high. It sucks for the moviegoer. That much is certain, because we have to pay. I say we have to, you know, but we pay that expensive price. But really, I mean, when it comes right down to it, I think if you want the food and you want to support the business that you are visiting, then I think concession stand, you know, purchases are warranted and welcomed and a good thing. But yeah, I don't think that this lawsuit has legs to stand on. And
the markup isn't nearly as high a percentage either. So you know,
yeah,
a meal there is definitely going to be more than a meal at a regular restaurant, but it's not the crazy outlandish prices. Like you can order I'd say an entree can be somewhere between $9 to $15 to $20 or so. But it really depends on what you get. Usually what I get ends up being maybe about $12 for the meal. Actually, maybe not even that. Maybe $10 for the meal and like $4 for a beer, which is a normal price anywhere as far as alcohol goes. But the percentage markup isn't nearly as high. And it's just... And because it's a way more enjoyable experience, you don't even think about shelling out a little bit of extra cash for it, because it's not some shitty meager amount of candy inside an oversized box for like $6. It's an actual meal for $10.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I agree with you, Hooper, that movie theaters used to be special. It used to be something that you would do, was go see the movies. But now, I think some of it has to do with the fact that everything's so expensive. The tickets, the concessions, everything. But also, I think it's become easier to get a hold of a movie after it's gone from the theaters. You can go right down the street, get it from Redbox for $1. You know, why pay $10 a couple months before? There's some movies that people still want to go see. You know, people want to see The Dark Knight when it comes out, or The Avengers. But most of the movies that I saw from last year, I either rented, saw on Netflix streaming, or whatever. And I think that's what the theaters have to face. I think that's their biggest problem right now, is becoming obsolete. I think the same thing is true with television. You know, I love television, but I think they're almost at a point where they have to rethink their strategy, because there are so many people watching it on Hulu the day after, or DVRing it and watching it later. And, you know, I just think that it's time to really take the movie watching industry into the future. And anyway, they charge a lot, but it's necessary and whatever. The movie-going experience, and I think there's always been this, and I think it's sort of I think we kind of look at things like it's unique to our generation, but it's really not. That people ruin movies. And you were just talking about people talking during movies, people texting during movies. That's unique to our generation. But people talking during movies is not unique. You know, that's always happened, and that's always going to happen, and there's no way to stop that. And it sucks, but it definitely dampens the experience. And I think a lot of people just say, you know what, I can enjoy the movie better if I wait a couple months, get it for $1 at Redbox, watch it in my room, in my time. I can pause it when I need to pause it. I can turn the volume up when I need to turn the volume up, and I don't have to worry about offending anybody. I can text through the whole movie if I want to. And I think that, you know, that is happening, and, you know, I think it all goes back to what I was saying was the movie-going experience has to change. The theaters need to evolve, and I don't know what that next step is, but the movie-going experience has been dampened for me over the years. It's to the point now where I can almost tell who's going to talk during a movie, and then I try to sit away from those people. But the problem is, no matter where you sit, you're pretty much going to be near somebody talking, and that does ruin the experience. So I think I don't know what they need to do. I mean, but something's got to change, and
you guys,
we've been talking about this for a long time.
You guys got to come to the Alamo Draft House. I was wanting to interject with you guys really need to watch the Patton Oswalt reading he's reading a text translation of a voicemail that the Alamo got from a disgruntled customer who got thrown out. If you want to go to a theater and have the best experience you can, I sound like I work for this freaking company, but like literally nobody talks, nobody takes their cell phone out, everybody just watches the movie. The only thing you'll ever hear out of someone's mouth is laughter if it's a funny movie. So,
right. Most other theaters don't want to hire the extra help to sit in the theater and make sure no one does that. So you'll see ushers come in like every now and then and just be like, "Hey, I have my little light and I'm going to look at things," and then they just leave, and it's like, why are they paying you to be here?
Hey, this is completely random, but I was at a Redbox. You said something about Tyler Perry before, and did you know there's something called Church the Movie?
What?
No. Is that Tyler Perry?
You know, it very well could be. It looks, you know, like something for that audience. You know,
yeah.
I put air quotes up when I did that. It's literally like these people of African American descent on the cover of, you know, the movie, just like having a good time, like at church, and it's called Church the Movie. Wow. So look it up. See if you can add that to your top 10.
I just looked it up on IMDb. Came out in 2010. It has a 3.2 on IMDb.
Out of 100 or 5?
10.
Out of 10.
That's higher than I would think.
It was directed by Foster Quarter and Corey King.
Is that Corey in the house?
You know what? That it would surprise me if it was.
Corey in the house.
I'm sorry. We can go back to a more or a less despicable subject.
I'm trolling down for film news, and there's one of these stories that's just about something. There's this director his first name is Nimrod.
Nimrod Antal.
Nimrod Antal. I don't really care about his career. I just think it's funny his name is Nimrod.
He did Predators.
Yeah.
That's right, he
Wait.
did. Well,
Yeah.
oh well. Well, I'm sorry for your unfortunate name. The movie was pretty good, but your name sucks.
He's of different descent, man. Give him a break.
Well, the first bit of film news is a geek deal about Reservoir Dogs. 15th anniversary edition Blu-ray for only $6.99, which is bullshit because as soon as I saw that, it was the top story on this particular website, which is now this story is now on page 3. When it was on page 1, it was the first story. I went and looked for it. It was $11.99. They lied to me. It was not correct. It was not the case. So, oh well. New photos from Dark Shadows. Creepy as fuck.
What was that? I don't even know.
Tim Burton
no.
and Johnny Depp.
Dustin, you're going cyborg on us.
Hello, Dustin. Can you hear
I
me?
hate my life.
Oh, God.
Come with me if you want to live.
No! Stop talking!
Alright, I'm gonna pause my recording.
Okay, everyone pause their recordings.
Alright. Me too. I'm good.
Oh, now you're fucked up again.
Who is?
Me? Wait, now you're not.
Okay, everyone should be fine.
Wait, now Kellan's messed up. Oh, no.
I don't hear anything.
No, to me, he sounds like a robot.
This is going to be such an interesting thing to edit.
Dustin, it's all your fault.
Alright, who's recording?
I'm not. Nobody.
Oh, I am.
Oh.
Okay. So we finished with,
Nimrod.
Nimrod. Alright. I'm trying to find valid film news. There's not much, although, Dustin, keeping with our episode 9, thing, Bryan Cranston is in another movie.
Yeah.
2012.
That guy's a G.
Bryan,
Kellan, have you ever seen Breaking Bad?
No.
You should watch Breaking Bad.
what the hell is wrong
I
with
know.
It's so good.
I'm sorry. I can't get into too many TV shows at once, man. Especially when I'm behind by like 4 or 5 seasons.
Dude, this just finished its 4th season. It's the best show that has ever been on television.
you? Agreed.
Do you want to like give me all the episodes?
Give you,
Yes.
I mean, like buy you a DVD copy of them.
They're all on Netflix.
I don't have
for free.
Netflix.
Well, then get it.
I will get it by the time the Arrested Development movie and show comes out, because that's the only way. I mean, the show.
The show's on
Yes.
Netflix for instant streaming.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
but
talking
the
about
new
ones.
episodes.
Oh.
That's when I'll actually like need it.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Come on.
Speaking of Netflix, there's an article here that says David Fincher in budget battle over House of Cards as host company Netflix mulls evolution to cable. I don't know what that's all about, but I know that there was a recent news clip that came out about someone, I think CNN, talking to Reed Hastings because Netflix just lost their account or ties with Stars, which was a
Right.
big thing, but the whole thing was about Reed Hastings going, nah, that's not a big deal. We don't really care about losing Stars. It's like, what? Really? And then he's like talking all about like, we're going to bounce back. We're fine. Netflix can survive without Stars. And it's like, well, your stock dropped 8%. I would call that a big deal. If you're a real CEO, you'd be concerned about any drop in stock, basically. But he's like, yeah, well, fuck Stars. They don't know shit about us. And it's like, well, you should care because your stock is dropping. So, I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts?
nope.
Not really.
I just think he's a moron, and he shouldn't be running a company, and I think that he's a dumbass.
Yeah, no, I kind of agree.
There's
been a lot of bad calls recently.
he doesn't seem to be completely behind any decision he makes. He's like, here's the decision, and then here's why I'm unsure about it, and then he just throws it out there. Whatever. I'm gonna go on record. I think Reed Hastings is a moron. So,
Let me ask you guys a question. I was thinking about this earlier. This is off topic and it's not film news. And Hooper, you can cut this out if you want to, or we can expand it and make it into another episode. I'll try not to talk too much about it tonight. What do you guys think about all these fan films that keep cropping up on the internet? Where they're like, like fan films where people go out and make like a Star Wars fan film or like a extended universe like Batman story or something. You know what I mean?
Is that like big recently?
Well, I mean, not recently, but I mean, it's always been big. But I just see them reported on a lot recently.
My cat just clawed my balls.
What?
Do you see my cat on the picture right now? Do you see her?
Yes.
She just clawed my balls. She jumped up and used my scrotum as a leverage device. Ow! I'm sorry. That's not going to make it in the podcast.
Yes, it is.
No.
Oh man.
I didn't mean to derail that. That just hurt.
Well, doesn't continue. I guess.
You know what? Never mind. I want to flesh out my thoughts on this because I'll talk about it for too long.
Flesh.
Shut up. All right.
Continue.
I'm gonna flesh out my thoughts on a later episode.
Okay.
Kellan, I was looking at the pictures recently of us at the beach when I had my accident. There's a video of like Luke doing the skimboarding like right before I did, and Caitlin goes. Like Caitlin was holding my camera for some reason. I guess because I was about to do it, and she goes, Dustin, this is on video. This is on video. How do I get it off? And now I wish it was still on video when I fell.
You got a board to the fucking taint.
It was the thigh. That's so far away.
It was your taint.
It was clearly my thigh. There's still a bruise there.
Are you serious?
It's still slightly discolored.
Oh my god, that was like a year ago.
It was more than a year ago, pal.
Oh my god.
I'm just kidding. It's not actually discolored. Actually, it might be. I haven't looked at it in a while.
under your gobs and gobs of fat rolls. I haven't seen my balls for 10 years.
This can all be cut out. I fail to see how this is relevant.
Well, it's relevant because I took a movie of my balls. I'm sorry.
Those are balls.
Those are balls. Okay, let's go.
You're not one of those men dressed like a woman, are you?
Let's screw.
Sorry. I'm trying to look for film news. Page 7.
Hey, let's talk about that Avengers trailer that I didn't see.
What?
Why didn't you see it?
I just heard people talking about it at work, and I was like, I can't be bothered.
Not looking forward to the Avengers.
I didn't see Thor. I didn't care for Iron Man 2. I didn't care for Captain America, so...
Yeah. That's
Did y'all
fair.
hear that?
That's
I'm
valid.
sorry.
Yes. I did not like the first Iron Man, and I hated the second Iron Man, and I did like Thor, and I did like Captain America, and then the Hulk movie isn't even a part of it.
Are we talking about
The Avengers?
Well,
dude, the Hobbit trailer though, man.
The what?
That's the Hobbit trailer. That's insane. I love that.
Oh
junk.
God,
I feel so disconnected from any conversation we're having right now.
I like orgasmed a truck when I saw that.
Wow, that is painful.
I was like, F-150.
I was like, ah! I'm excited for the Avengers, and nothing will change that unless I find out that Hitler directed it, and then I think that I'll probably be turned off of it.
Joss Whedon is not Hitler. I can assure you of that.
Well, then I'm excited for it.
Yes, I'm excited for it. I'm more excited for The Dark Knight Rises, though. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
Do you remember when I was convinced that his name was Josh Whedon?
I don't remember that, but sure.
You and Connor and John all just looked at me and were just like, "It's Joss," and I was like, "Are you sure?"
I'm sorry.
I was like, "Shut up."
Josh Whedon.
There is no film news to speak of.
Kellan, have you ever seen Firefly?
I watched a couple episodes of it.
Whoa!
Wow, he's excited by your couple of episodes.
Whoa! Here's something small, albeit, but
That's what she said.
Fox cancels Terra Nova, series being shopped to other networks. Have either of you have either of you watched Terra Nova?
I saw the pilot.
How was it? Was it good?
Terrible.
Ooh,
It was bad.
like,
It was awful.
Okay,
But I heard that Netflix is thinking about picking them up as an original series.
Okay, how would that it wouldn't be aired on television though?
No, it would be aired through the instant streaming.
But for the subscription.
Well, that also means a huge budgetary cut, and that whole show is about big budget. So what?
Well, a show like
Yeah,
Terra
but it's
Nova
never had a big budget.
cannot exist without a big budget. So
Yeah, that's what I mean. So how?
Yeah.
If it gets shopped to Netflix, they're gonna have to shell out some mad freaking dough, and they won't do that. So it's not gonna be the same show.
no, I mean I'll give it props for being ambitious and wanting dinosaurs and shit in it, but
But here's my problem with that. If you know a TV budget can't sustain your idea, then don't do it on television. That makes no sense to me. That's like
Dustin.
when Smallville was like, "Oh, hey, Darkseid is our villain," and it's like, "Oh, but we can't sustain we can't have a fully CG character in every episode." Well, then why did you choose him? This makes no sense.
I don't know.
I think you and like 2 other people are going to get that reference because I think you guys are the only ones still watching Smallville.
I know.
Get
I
out of your cat.
I didn't even watch most of. I didn't watch most of season 8. I didn't watch any of season 9, and I only watched a few episodes of season 10 because they were wrapping up. But yeah, terrible stuff.
And
But sorry, I'm sorry. That just makes no sense to me. That's like saying, hey, we're doing a web series where we have like T-Rex and stuff, and we're producing it in my backyard. So how does that make sense? You can't afford that. For Christ's sake, choose something like a drama or something, not like a big budget spectacular that you shoot in your living room.
they should have just dressed people up in suits like Godzilla. That would have been cool.
True. Yeah.
Hey, here's a film nugget for you. Did you know that?
Okay.
Did you know that Godzilla's, signature roar is actually a distorted recording of a cello string?
Really?
Yeah.
I did not.
You listen to it, you know that like the way it goes off the end? That's the bow going off the string.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Okay.
Okay, let's move on.
You should have more wine.
No, I shouldn't.
Thank you for listening to the podcast.
Okay, so
I'm Hooper.
all right,
Hooper Dipsy.
all right. Pants are going way up here.
Oh!
What?
All right, so here's an article that may not have any staying power. Dustin, come back to me. Danny DeVito totally wants to do another Twins movie, plus Scream 5, Saw 2, Friday 4, Iron Man 3.
Wait, Saw 2?
Saw 2.
Salt 2.
Oh, I thought you said Saw. I was like, that's already been made,
Wait,
buddy.
these are all films he wants to be in?
No, it's separate, but
Wait, what?
he wants to do another Twins,
And he
then,
wants to be in Salt 2?
No, separate from Danny DeVito's involvement. Begets Scream 5, Salt, opposite of Pepper, 2, Friday 4,
I'm just picturing Danny DeVito in all these movies.
Iron Man 3, Men in Black 3, and then it just says Jack Ryan, separate from, Tom Clancy, or is it just Jack Ryan the movie?
Danny DeVito's gonna be the next Jack Ryan? Holy shit.
I'm sorry.
I just want to get my family back.
Give me back my family.
What has happened?
Okay.
Taking a turn for the worse here.
You gotta keep your wits about you.
And then for Salt 2, I just pictured Danny DeVito just going, this is salty. Or something.
There's too much salt on my popcorn.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
Oh, God.
Oh, this is just evolving.
There is nothing really to talk about here. What the fuck is this?
Hey, speaking of artless movies we were talking about earlier, how about that new Three Stooges coming out?
Oh, when does that come out?
Hopefully never.
Well, when is it scheduled to come out? Like July?
I don't know. Hopefully I die before it comes out, because...
It's coming out on the next reckoning of Satan, Beelzebub.
Well...
Yes.
Okay, well, since there's nothing going on in 11 pages of film news, after 2 weeks of not talking about film news, I put out a Facebook post. Make sure I'm recording enough time. Yeah, I got enough time. I put out a Facebook post about sending us questions, and someone responded, well, if Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers, where's the pack of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked? I think the question is actually, how many packs of pickled peppers did he pick? I don't really know the answer to that question. I think, where is it? That's probably in his orchard where he picked them. I don't really want to answer that question further because that's really subjective. It depends on where Peter Piper was stationed at the time. The next question I have is, do you know the Muffin Man? No, I don't. The third question is about the Ender's Game movie.
I don't even know what that is.
Any scoop?
What?
One of the greatest books ever. Supposed to be
released... Hunger Games?
No, Ender's Game.
Ender's Game.
It's a really
what the devil is that?
Supposed to be released...
Isn't it Orson Scott Card?
Orson Scott Cod's...
Scott Cod.
Those are two kinds of fish.
Orson Scott Card's
Yeah, it's a sci-fi
masterpiece.
novel.
Supposed to be released later this year or early 2013, I believe. Look, all I know about Ender's Game is that it's been greenlit. I think that the girl who played the girl in True Grit, Haley
Steinfeld. Fuck me.
Seinfeld.
Haley Steinfeld is in the movie. That's all I know. I don't know. I assume she's playing his sister, but I'm only like a chapter into the book on audiobook, so I don't know what really happens. So
the biggest fear I have about that movie is I just picture little kids in spaceships, and all I think about is fucking Jake Lloyd in a Naboo starfighter, and I cringe and I want to die.
well,
Yep.
So if it's a whole movie of that, I'm out.
well, yeah, I don't really know much about that movie. All I know is it's being made, and I would hope, because everyone I talk to says that Ender's Game is like the best book ever, so hopefully they make the movie good as well. That's all I can really say. My brother says, what's your take on the motion picture production of Les Miserables? I know it's not out, but talking anticipation. Dustin and I talked about this already, and how we felt that... Dustin, I know you don't have any personal connection to the story. I know we talked about how I did, because in high school we did the movie, and I was one of the revolutionaries. I just hope they make it epic enough and not, middling like Rock of Ages appears to be. I want it to be more like Chicago or Rent, or movies that are musicals that are made into bigger productions. I want it to be grand because the story is grand. I mean, I'll confess that I have nothing that I feel like seeing this month except for maybe the Hunger Games, but I don't care about...
What is that all about?
The Hunger
don't even
Games?
know. Yeah,
like the plot? Like, I just finished the first book this morning, and The Hunger Games is about picture in the future that, North America is now a country called Pan Am, P-A-N-E-M, where,
What?
people...
Like the airline?
No, not Pan Am, but replace the A with an E, Pan Am, one word.
Okay.
And they are divided into 16 districts, and then they all revolt against the capital, the main people. And the capital defeats the districts and kills off 4 of them, so there's 12 left. So every year they host this event called the Hunger Games, where they select one boy and one girl from every district to compete in the Hunger Games. And the Hunger Games is like you grab all these people and you throw them into an arena, and they basically fight each other, and the last one alive wins, like a ton of money and whatever else. So
Are they all hungry?
Well, I'm sure they're all hungry at a certain point of the day, but they're called the Hunger Games, and certain districts, like 1 through maybe 4, are fed adequately, and the others are like starving sons of bitches. And they do this Hunger Games because if they win, they get like a ton of money and they can protect their families. But it's a really good story. I think that of all the... I'm trying to think of what else comes out this month. I think tomorrow John Carter comes out, which seems exciting, but I said that about a lot of things, and am I going to end up seeing John Carter? Probably not. I have no ties to, the comic book, or it's not a comic book, is it? It's like a novel, right?
No, it's a novel.
Yeah, it's a graphic novel or a novel?
No, it's just a novel.
Okay,
From 1912 or something.
It's from 1912. Yeah, it's from early. It's like John Carter of Mars, right?
Well, that was actually one of the later ones. That I can't remember what
the first one. The first one is just something different, but it's the same world. But
yeah,
I don't have any ties to it. I like Andrew Stanton. Good luck with it. I'm sure it's good. I don't have any interest in it. I can't let it sway me to see the movie. The only thing I plan on seeing this month is the Hunger Games, because I think the story is good. Imagine if you're thrown into a pit with people you don't know, and one guy from your area of the world, Dustin, you and a friend from Douglasville get thrown into a ring with people from California and shit, and you know that only one of you can move on and win this thing. At some point, no matter how much you ally yourself with your friend, you have to kill your friend. And how does a person deal with that responsibility? Like, to give back to your family, to feed your family, you have to murder these other contestants, or you can wait until they murder themselves, but how do you deal with that? I think that's an interesting area to, explore, and I think that's a good thing the Hunger Games does, having read the book at least. I don't know how they execute the movie, I don't know how they, explore that, but I hope that they do the same good job that the book did. Who knows?
So it's a book series, right?
There's 3 books.
There's several books. Okay. So is there, how you have Harry Potter and then his friends come back every year. So is it essentially that you have the first book and you read that first book and only one of those characters survive, and then the next book has that character and a whole bunch of other characters that are just introduced in the second one? If it spoils something, let me don't say anything.
I won't spoil it. I will say that more than one character from the first book survives. I'll say that. It's interesting. They changed the rules a little bit.
Hey, does anybody else really not like Josh Hutcherson?
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Who is he?
He's the fucking guy in the movie.
He's the guy who plays Peter Malark?
Sure, whatever. I don't know. He was in Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Yeah, that guy's a...
He was gonna play Spider-Man in the reboot? God,
I know.
Fuck me.
Who is that guy?
He's the kid. He's just annoying.
He's in, the Magician's Assistant, or whatever that was called.
He was in Kicking and
John C.
Screaming.
Reilly.
Was?
Yeah.
Really?
He was in RV. I think he was in RV.
Yeah, Robin he was. With what's her name? The pop...
Jojo.
Jojo.
Sounds like a trained monkey. Yeah. She probably was.
Mojo Jojo.
Mojo Jojo.
It is I. I am in this movie. If it was somebody else, it would not be me. But it is me, so I am in this movie.
Guys, I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty hammered, so.
All right, good job.
Yeah, at least I made it right.
No, I meant like good job as in we made it this far.
Oh, you're congratulating me for consuming alcohol? What are you saying?
No. Well, I don't know, maybe. Maybe for just like not busting ass out of your chair. You knocked a couple things over, but you know.
Oh, I should go to sleep.
You know what? You should end the podcast with the audio from that video.
I won't. My waveforms are so far behind because right now they're in like a huge like spiky distance, which like implies I'm
right on my microphone talking.
But I'm not. But then by the time it shows up, it might be. Holy shit. All right, we need to bring this to a close. Jesus
All right, so
Christ. Look, the whole point of this is I pity the listener because if I've managed to fashion this horrible podcast into any semblance of a story or opinion, I would like to end it with at least Dustin and I don't know about Kellan, intend to see movies that come out this month, possibly next month, that, you know, we can have opinions about. Why are you laughing at me? You know, I don't know.
Also, in a future episode, we can talk about Sherlock season 2.
Such a disaster.
I'll see a movie if I can.
We've been talking for like 3 hours.
Look, the thing about all of these episodes is that
You'll see about all these episodes.
The kids don't know about the jazz music.
don't know what the jazz is all about. You see, jazz is like Jello pudding.
Jello pudding pops.
With the hipping and the hopping and the bipping and the bopping, and they don't know what the jazz is all about. You'll see.
You see?
You'll see.
All right. Look, I may possibly go see the Hunger Games this month. I might not. You know, whatever. The point is, oh Jesus Christ! Nothing. This is not going anywhere, is it? Is it?
So we promised that next that we promised that the next podcast will be a little more organized, and that we will have a little more to talk about. As Hooper just finished the second season of Sherlock, and we can talk about that. Also, Hooper may end up seeing the Hunger Games. I might see John Carter, so we'll have a little bit to talk about.
And I probably won't be coming back.
And Kellan may not ever return,
but I feel like this
that's
is
okay.
my fault.
It's only your fault, Kellan, if your name is really Wine.
Look, hold on a second. Wait a minute here. Wait a minute.
Hold up! Wait a minute.
Let me let my audio track catch up to what's going on here in this place.
Just put an audio clip of Soldier Girl on the MARTA train at the end of this podcast.
This is going to be such a hard thing to edit.
Yes, it will.
Such a nightmare.
Have fun with that, Hooper.
It will.
You know what? The whole time I've been whispering while you guys are talking on my track, like satanic, horrible things, and they're going to creep you out while you're doing my part of the audio. Yeah.
Gotcha.
The past 20 minutes, I've been trying to find an appropriate out for this podcast, and I haven't found one. All I can say to... right now, I seem like I'm speaking in a pretty articulate, voice, but when I listen to it, it might sound like, right now, I seem like I'm talking in a really articulate voice. But all I can really say is that, look,
this is just like that video.
It really is.
That's what's sad about it. I don't want my viewers
And we're not
know.
going to be there to clean it up off your floor.
Yeah, Hooper, you need a trash can by your bed tonight, buddy.
I'm gonna walk up. I'm gonna. going to happen? What's going to happen is as soon as you guys send me your audio files, I'm going to try my best to salvage this podcast into, a coherent piece of art. Art. What I really want to say to my listeners, depending on how I've cleverly edited this podcast or not, whichever way it goes, what message do I want to imbue them with, guys? I don't know. Really
don't drink and podcast.
No, Kellan, that's just stupid.
Do drink and podcast?
No, not that either. I think this is derailed horribly. I think I don't know. I guess I tell everybody at some point to submit their questions to the podcast, and maybe we can answer them. But I mean, I answered everybody who had a question this time. So all I can really say is that we'll be back next week. Dustin, possibly.
Yep.
We will be back next week. Maybe you should speak and not me.
You want me to do it?
He already did.
So what Hooper wants to say is that we, but is currently unable to say. We'll be back next week, Hooper and I, with a couple movie reviews. We have Sherlock to talk about. Season 2, Hooper just finished. It's been out for a few months now. Anyway, so we can talk about that. Sort of give you a rundown of what happened in Season 2, a recap and a review. And then also, John Carter's coming out this weekend. I might go give that a shot.
Dustin.
And we can talk about a few other things. And, just submit your questions to Hooper when he asks for them on Facebook. We'll do our best to answer them, and we'll see you guys all next time.
Dustin.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Dustin.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's happening?
He said Dustin, and then laughed.
Dustin.
What?
Oh, God.
What?
Dustin.
What?
I'm so confused.
Let's put this to bed, Hooper. Come on.
All right. To my guests, Dustin Malden, Kellan Stover, thank you for coming on the podcast. Sorry
No problem. It was fun.
Fucked it up.
Thank you for having
You
me.
didn't really.
I'm going to have to
Yeah, thanks for having us.
find all those duck sounds to cover all the cursing and vulgarities about penises.
And cats.
Because you both did what you're supposed to do and not consume excessive amounts of alcohol during the podcast. Seriously, Jesus Christ!
Sorry.
This is turning. Well, you know what I'm gonna not do. I'm gonna stop myself from doing. Generally, when I get to this point, I go to like a self-loathing alcoholic place. What we're gonna do instead is keep it happy. Somehow.
Bob Marley. Bob Marley.
Well, Bob Marley's fucking dead. What does he know about being? What does he know about being? What does he know about living? Nothing, because he's dead. He's fucking dead.
Oh, end it on that. End it.
The sooner we all accept that, the better.
Bob Marley is dead, everybody.
He's dead. He is dead. Hey,
Dead like disco.
Yeah, newsflash. Bob Marley, he's fucking dead.
DED dead.
All I can say is that, yeah, movie theaters are bullshit. They're going to charge you a lot for movies, and they're going to charge you a lot for food. But you know what? That's life, so either deal with it or stop going to the movies. Hey, if you stop going to the movies, then maybe that's a good thing because they're not really unique anymore. So why don't you stay at home, order video on demand, and shut the fuck up and enjoy your entertainment? That's what I think.
Shit on everything.
Go to Redbox, pay for that. That's an option. Another option is just not go to movies in general.
You could Swede your own films.
Hey, you know what? But what the fuck do you know? You don't go to the movies. Or maybe you do.
Was that directed at me?
No.
I was like, ow!
You know what? Like, if you go to the movies, then hey, bully for you, Tom Sawyer. But, you know, for everyone else who... Where is this going?
Today's come save.
And the spacey invades.
I'm just gonna hit the button, man.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me give an outro so I don't look like a complete asshole.
Like,
No,
You
that
just
wasn't
did.
the outro. Look, okay. Continue listening to the podcast. Thank you for listening, and tune in for episode 14, where we'll talk about Sherlock season 2 and speculation upon how season 3 will play out. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.